No problem. Thank you very much. So yes, hello. I'm Viper or Viper Racing, whichever one you want to go with. This is Victory Heat Rally, a racing game that was released in October 2024, so it's only a year old. I think it was only a year old after a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, this is the Group Alpha, all races category that we're doing. So there are three different groups that you do in the entire game. So we're going to get started here. I'm just going to pick my game here. There we go. So first things first, let's get to the championship. Now this category is done from a new game. Just to quite quickly show you just one major thing beforehand, that there are 12 characters. You can see we've got Chrissy, Clyde, Lana, Tommy, Kenzie, Renzo, Hawk, Minji, Pepe, Anais, Ace, and Lucy. Now Lucy's the one that we're going to be using. So we've got her all set up already. So timing is going to start when I hit A on this race. So if we're ready on time, I'll give you a countdown from 3, 2, 1, let's go. Okay, so first things first. What is Victory Heat Rally? Well, racing game, involves drifting. Why the different characters? Well, different characters usually mean different statistics. Every character has its own unique statistics. Some are easier to drift than others. Some are easier to keep boost. Some have additional power levels, things like that as well. So the first thing to kind of just mention straight off the bat is that we're going to be doing every race at least twice. The only reason I say that is because how the game is structured is that you do each race the first time over, and then you do a Grand Prix at the end of the set, and the Grand Prix that is at the end of the set will be them 4 races that you've just done. Now, for more variety, I would probably recommend the Old Grand Prix. But yeah, so you start off with, normally if you play the game from the very start, you'll start off with the beginning 3 characters. Now, it is worth noting that everyone has their own unique, as I said before, like everyone has their own unique statistic. But the main thing above all else is that in terms of the game itself, you have, like, speedrunners tend to use different characters for different tracks, and yeah, it's quite nice. So this is our like little map that we do. So we're gonna do each of these races once over. Now I will just mention something that I do personally believe that the races that you do when you do them like as a single race rather than as a Grand Prix, that you're able to actually like beat the AI much easier. So for some reason, I don't know why they are much easier. They just seem to be. It's weird. So there is another thing too. So when you catch a bat marker, you'll see that we encounter bat markers pretty quick. Now, the main thing to point out, you catch a bat marker very early on, as you can see here. That's no problem, because if you do hit one by complete accident, and I'll try to hit one if I can, there you go. What happens is, that happens. So they get sent flying and the car blows up. And also you don't lose too much speed as well, so it keeps this a bit more hectic. You do lose some speed, as you might imagine, but not as much. I do think it does outpower games like, you know, Mario Kart, stuff like that, in that regard. So you can see there, them AI will respawn on the track. You are no different. You are able to do the same as the AI. So if you get, if you fly off the track, then what will happen is the car will literally go bang, and it'll put you right back on again. So that is the second race. On to the third one. I will admit, the art style plus the music is fantastic. If you get a chance to listen to just the music is fantastic. So I will just quickly mention something real quick. So one of the main things to, well, in terms of to mention about the development side of things, so we had a bit of a bad con there, but it's fine, we'll get through. It's all good. So this game was made by Sky Devil Palm in association with Playtonic. So Playtonic Games being the creators of Little Gator Game amongst other games as well. I mainly know them from Little Gator Game, but obviously if you know them, their other games, then there you go. But yeah, they helped to push this game out, but Sky Devil Palm was the main publisher behind the game. So the any percent for this game involves doing every single race, plus all the Grand Prix. Now, when I say every single race, I mean every single mainline race. Now, that sounds like a bit of a bizarre thing to say, but in this category, you'll see races that are called Joker races. Now, Joker races are essentially just the side races. They have something different. So, for the most part, what we're going to see in this run, in the main races, is obviously just, well, circuit racing. However, in the Joker races, you have things like hitting a certain amount of cones, overtaking a certain amount of cars, drifting through gates, passing through things. It's really good fun. Yeah, it doesn't take too long, to be honest, to do them. It is very, very fun, and would highly recommend it. If you ever get a chance to pick this up, then please do so. So, in terms of these extra races, by the way, you'll see that we are now going to go to our first one here, which is called the Cone Zone. So, the Cone Zone involves hitting a certain number of cones. Now, as we're not in really a massive rush here, what we're going to do is only aim for the bronze here. So, obviously, I'll try and get a higher one if I need to, but for the most part, don't have to worry so much. I mean, like, oh, okay, I missed a couple of cones there. It's fine. But we might be able to get silver, I think. Yeah, we got silver. There we go. There we go. We got silver. So you may notice as well, so when it says gold, it'll either show us gold, silver, or bronze, depending on if you're first, second, or third. Obviously, on these, it's a lot easier to know which medal you've got because it's only gold, silver, or bronze. However, in a Grand Prix, the races all light up with gold in purple, so it's a kind of different way of signifying things, which is quite good. So, as well as circuit racing, we have rallies. Now, obviously, it's in the title. It's called Victory Heat Rally for a reason. For those that don't know what a rally is, it's usually a point-to-point race against other competitors. Now, I will just kind of mention straight off the bat that for rallies in actual rally games, it's usually just you against the clock, and that you go up against the AI, but you don't see the AI. In this game, they decide to put the AI on track with you. Now, here's the thing. In the rallies, in the single race format, like you can see here, we have a time that we need to beat so that we can actually get, you know, a gold medal. However, in Grand Prix mode, that time thing disappears entirely, and it basically turns into a position counter. So one of the main things as well that you can do with this, with all the cars on this game, is you can change the suspension. You can change the suspension. You can change the tires, the paint job, and something else. I can't remember off the top of my head, to be honest. There is one other thing you can do. So, here's the first Grand Prix. So you can see here now that these are divided into heats. So obviously we're going back through from the start. We're going to do the same 4 races over and over. Now there is one extra race that we are going to be doing in this. This is part of the category, don't worry. So what's going to happen is Tommy, who is our rival, is going to have a duel race against us. So duel races work a bit differently. You may remember in most racing games, you duel against somebody else, and it's usually a case of it's a one-on-one, whoever wins, wins. Duels in this game take on a much different format. Now, when I say they take on a different format entirely, basically you both have a life bar. This probably sounds very familiar to another series in particular. You both have a life bar, and you have to outdrag the other. The health bar goes down, and eventually, when whoever's health bar goes down first, the other person is the winner. So, for example, if I take Tommy's bar down, his bar will go down, and I will be the winner. And the reason why I say for those wondering, like, oh, if this sounds familiar, that's because that kind of is familiar. So, for those that aren't familiar with the game Tokyo Extreme Racer, that is also how some of the races work. I don't know if it's how the entire game works. I've not played it enough myself to know, but I do believe that in some of the Tokyo Extreme Racer series, that I think it's Team Genki or something. I can't remember the actual name of it, but basically they have a similar sort of system. I presume this game took a lot of inspiration from that. The vehicles in this game aren't based off anything in particular, but they do look like they are based off certain vehicles. One of them in particular looks like it's based off a muscle car. Another one looks like it's based off a Nissan Skyline. An 4 to be exact. You'll know what I mean if you see it, but yeah. So why the different characters? Well, the characters do have their strengths and weaknesses, and for ILs, this is the one thing I was kind of mentioning before I started doing this run. But basically, what you're able to do, bit of a bad start there, but we can make it through, it's fine, is that what you're able to do against the AI is you're able to, well, not against the AI, sorry, I'm getting my words mixed up. What I meant to say was ILs, this is it. So, ILs don't have the AI, that's where I was going with that. Obviously, in races, you have the AI and you have to dodge and weave them, and it's a bit of a pain. But if you were to do a time attack, you'll obviously be able to do the entire race without, well, do the races without worrying about anything. If that makes sense. So there's no obstacles, you don't have to worry, and it is literally just all on the player, which is really good. And some of the times, I will be honest, if you get a chance, have a look at the ILs for this game. They're nuts. They are genuinely crazy. Like people finding like a 10th here or 2/10 there is crazy. But like their drifting techniques are very advanced. I've not seen many of these runners do a full game run yet. However, that doesn't mean we won't get one in the near future. That's the main thing to kind of take away from all this. So I'm going to try and get past these guys as quick as I can. There we go. But, yeah, like I said, it is very much a fun game, and I would highly recommend it if you get a chance to pick this up. I picked this up, and I was also saying this before the event, but, like, one of the things for me was that my first memory of this game wasn't a great one, so I played this at a gaming event in Manchester called Format, and me and another speedrunner, Christian Royal he's called. He basically, I think he's Man in Blue, I think is his name now, but yeah, he played this with me, and we did like a 2-player split screen, which you can do if you get a chance to do it. And what ends up happening is, we played that, and he absolutely whooped my backside at it, let's just say that. And I was like, immediately thinking, well, I can't play this game at all, I'm no good at this, I genuinely can't beat this game. And then the demo came out on Steam Next Fest a couple months down the line, and I was like, ooh, this is going to be good. So I was like, you know what, no, I'll give it more of a fair chance, I'll play it a bit more. And then the next thing was that I played the demo, I finished the demo and was like, right, okay, so all I need to do is just, you know, go for it and just see what I can make of it. Anyway, I ended up playing the game and absolutely loved it. I got used to playing it very, very quickly, and yeah, very much enjoyed it. So you can see here that the Coastline Cruise track, which we are doing right now, is very much a case of, it is now set at night. The AI is much faster, so catching them will be a bit of a pain. Now, I will be honest as well, is that when you're doing this with the opening characters, my advice would be to, I mean, the easiest and probably one of the best characters in the game isn't even Lucy. Like, Lucy, for me, is one of the best, because in terms of, like, her handling and everything, her acceleration is absolutely monstrous. She's not the fastest by any stretch, but, like, she is really good, as I accidentally hit the AI there. But yeah, she was really, really good. But, like, for me, the main thing is that you can, you know, like I said, if you so desired, you could easily use any of the characters. But, like, for me, one of the big characters, which is, like I said, she's unlocked right from the start, is that you unlock, so you have Chrissy. As you can see there, we win a trophy. Very nice. And now what we're going to do is we'll take on Tommy. Focus. So there you go. We're going to go after Tommy now. He's actually the easiest duel to do. But yeah, it's really, really good fun. and Chris is probably one of your best bets to use if you were to start playing this game from the very get-go. Would recommend picking Chrissy, and yeah, pick Chrissy. Put her on soft suspension and grip tires, and honestly, she will not let you down. She's really good. There you go.
Do we have time for a few donations?
We do, yeah.
Oh, heck
Definitely.
yeah. So we have $20 from Vivian P that just says great cause. Thank you, Vivian. And then we have $15 from Big Jenna Talia. That says, thank you for everything. Thank you for letting me be part of this event. Also, Banana Boy. Thank you, Jenna. Jenna, you guys will see a video of later. We recorded a video for the prizes that you guys can all win. And I will be showing that a little bit later, probably after this run. And you'll be seeing Jenna in there, and she's the best. So thank you, Jenna, and thank you, Vivian.
Thank you very much. So you can see here that we've now on our next race here. So the funny thing is, every track has the same song every time you play it. And me personally, like I said, I do really enjoy the soundtrack, so I've not a problem with hearing this like a couple of times during the run. The one thing I will mention though is that you can do whatever you like in this game. I do think that there are a few things missing. For example, I think the ability to paint your own car and do your own paint jobs and stuff like that is really good. Surprisingly, there is no online play, so you won't be able to raise your friends, which again I think is a big opportunity that was missed there. Same with additional characters as well. Either DLC or otherwise, I think would be really cool. But I think given the game and what it is, that let me just be frank about this, is that I think this game is fantastic. I really do. For an indie game as well, it is absolutely amazing. And I think it did a very good job of, being the indie game that it was. I do think, yeah, there could be a few improvements and a few things, that could be done to it. But honestly, I can't really think of anything to fault it. I think the only thing I would mainly probably say is that the Grand Prix that are at the end of the the Grand Prix that are at the end of each section is more of a case of it should be either completely randomized or also I pushed that purple person very far to the front. I didn't think I'd do that. I do think a bit more randomness and stuff like that would probably have made this game a bit better in my personal view. So rather than be doing the 4 races that you've done, because I don't mind doing the first 4 races, but I think it's that case of right, okay, then 4 races you've now got to do them back to back. It's a bit I don't know. Me personally, I probably would have had it a bit more random. Wouldn't have introduced I probably would have randomized the tracks from the first 8. So basically, it randomizes all the tracks that you've unlocked up until that point. So I think the first one would have been the 4 tracks, but rather than play them continuously back to back, you play them in a random order. And then the Grand Prix for this one would be the first 8 tracks that you get, again, all randomized. And then the same with, as you go through, the next 12 or the next 16, you get the idea. I will be honest as well, there are some interesting designs for the tracks. So you've got a farm one now. You've got a genuine a genuine one where you obviously want to be doing certain stuff on them. So obviously we're more in the country for this one, so it's not too bad. Also, this Joker. Okay, so this Joker involves flying past posts, as you can see here. So again, as I mentioned, we don't actually need to get any more than what we have. So if I wanted to, I can get 8 and call that a day. or I can aim to get all, I think there's 22 on this. As you can see here, there we go, we've got, that's bronze done. So now we've got to go and get silver if we want. Like I said, don't have to. The thing is with this race thing is that if we're doing 100%, this will make complete sense as to why we're doing it. But we're not, so we don't have to worry. But going for gold proves a good idea, doesn't it? You can see here, we've got 22 to go. There you go. Yeah, 22 poles, I thought so. There you go. Okay, so here's the fun bit. We've done that Joker first because of where it is. And guess what we're now going to do? We are now going to go back and do that normally. Because that is actually the next race. So, coincidentally, you're doing the same race twice in a row. It's a bit bad, but again, it's just how the events have gone. But yeah, I've been doing runs of this game for, like I said, since the game released. I think after a couple of weeks, I was like, oh, okay, I'll give it the best shot. Like I said, the guy who's got the record, I can't remember what it's called, but like, I think the record's like a 2:25 something. My PB is like a 2:27, sub 2:30 anyway. That much I know. But yeah, you can do the same with like all Grand Prix as well. All Grand Prix is another one. So there's two categories that you can, two like main categories. These ones are a bit different. So obviously the 100% is, so I've done a run like every category, and I can just mention, like, for me, doing the individual groups is a great idea because these are short and fun, especially the beginner ones, especially this plot that we're doing. So one of the things that we have got is we have got a split, because the split goes down into, so you do this one where you're doing all races for this group, but then another one is just to do the main races without doing the Joker stuff. So on certain occasions you won't have to do anything. So anyway, we're up with Drift Stadium for this one. So immediately get up to speed. But oh, our host has anything you'd like to say, feel free, go right ahead. I'm just keep on drifting.
Sure thing. No donations to come through right now, but that's okay. Remember that just hanging out with us is just as good, and also sharing the links. You can share the link to the Tiltify or the stream. We always greatly appreciate that. We do have some bid wars, some polls going on. You can check those out. Stuff that's going on today, like the alternate costume for Devil May Cry 4. And you can make the Golem dance in Haunting Grounds. Then there's some other stuff that's going to be happening tomorrow as well. We've got some Mario Odyssey, some Operation Raccoon City, a bunch of polls that you can check those out. Speaking of Devil May Cry, one of the prizes that we have up for grabs, with a $10 donation, you can enter in to win that, is these really cool retro, I don't remember what year it was. I think it was probably the year that DMC 1 came out, but of these figurines of Dante and Trish. We've got 3 Devil May Cry games coming up this marathon. We have DMC 3, DMC 4, and DMC 1, so make sure you check those out, and there's a few polls for that. And then, let's see, we've got another prize that's pretty cool. Pokemon cards are a big deal right now. I don't know if anyone has ever noticed or seen that, but generously donated by Magic Cart Collectibles. It is a Pokemon TCG Silver Tempest ETB, or Elite Trainer box, and then also a graded PSA 10 Japanese from Terastal Festival Glaceon EX. It is one of the special art rares that you can get from that set. And that was, like I said, graciously donated by Magikarp Collectibles. You can try to win that with a minimum $15 donation. And then remember, there's the Switch 2 prize pack. Comes with a copy of Pokemon Legends ZA and Mario Kart world. And of course, a Switch 2 donated by Video Game Trading Post in Pensacola. There's two ways you can do that one. If you donate $100 over the course of the entire event, you get entered in, or you can just donate $100 in one shot and get in. You could also, if you're doing polls and targets and things like that, you can do them together. You don't have to do them all for one, so you can meet the goals with either or. But yeah, that's all I've got for me. I'm gonna send it back over to Viper and enjoy some more Victory Heat Rally.
Well, thank you very much. So just whilst I was doing that last race, you may notice that we did a little race called Gymkhana, which was involving drifting. Now that one involves how much time you've got left at the end. So there are these races where it is about a case of there are certain bits that are trying to slow you down a little bit, and they end up making you like lose time as well as slow you down. So that was one of the things that you saw me at the end there. So it was like we have these red X's above them, which basically means that if I try to do anything with them, it'll make it go not so sure. But yeah, you end up losing time a little bit. Like I said, for me personally, I do believe that in terms of drifting, everything like that, there is just you just hold the button and the car will just drift. Now there are, like I said, each character has their own unique style. But the other thing is as well, is that for me, I've always found that like Chrissy and Lucy, I mean, Lucy with a bit of practice, but Chrissy's like really easy to learn. And straight off the bat, all the other characters take a bit more practicing. That's not to say that the other characters can't be fast either. I think that every character has the opportunity to be fast. I do think if you want to get some of the really good times, that it ends up being a case of, you know, you end up wanting to do your own thing and do all sorts, really. But anyway, that is the first of 4 races for this one. So we're on to Bandit Blitz now. Then we have Regal Road and Drift Stadium. So all I need to do now is hopefully try and get past him. The thing is, as well, is that there is this particular one here, which I think it's here. I'm trying to see where it is. Maybe here? I can't remember which one it is. That race, for some reason, is a lot easier on this Grand Prix than it is in the actual, like, doing a solo race. I don't know why. Genuinely don't know why. But one of the things you can do as well is you can drift off-road as well. Not off-road, in the air. So if you hold the drift mechanic down, you're literally able to drift and fill up your bar. So it's like, if I probably can't pull it off, to be honest. But if you see me like gaining drift whilst I'm off-road or in the air, you'll see what I mean. But yeah, I do really like how the game has been put together, genuinely speaking. And like I said, definitely give this a try for yourself if you get a chance to do so. For me personally, I do think that the game is definitely worth the money that you pay for it. I definitely think that, I think at the time when I bought this, it was just short of like, I think it was about £15 or just under £15, and for the game you get, I've had more fun out of this than some AAA games over like the last few years, and that's not just me a case of going like, oh, completely soft and going for indie games. I just want to kind of make one thing very clear. I wasn't very keen on indie games. If I go back about, I don't know, 8 or 9 years ago maybe, I wasn't keen on the whole like indie scene, indie market. I thought most games were rubbish, they weren't very good, and you could tell. Obviously indie games have been around for a long time, but like I always thought the indie game scene wasn't that good, and then I think during COVID maybe, I just started to look at these games as, you know what, I'm getting bored of AAA stuff. And I was like, you know, I should really try and look at other games. I ended up playing games like Art of Rally, which if you haven't played that by Fun Selector, I think it is, who the guy who created it. He's gone on to make a couple of different games as well. And honestly, he's very, very good. It is a very good rally game. It's very much a sort of top-down almost. rally game, but yeah, it's very enjoyable. And this is another one of them games. This is another one of them indie games that got swept under the rug, to be honest. I do think it's definitely worth supporting indie developers. Not just a case of, oh, because I found that there's 2 games that I liked, but just in general, it's made me appreciate the indie scene a lot more over the last couple of years. And you know, if I ever get a chance to work with indie developers or like playtest any of the games or anything like that, I think, you know, I'm very thankful for that. But also, you know, like, so they've been putting their heart and soul into it. And that's not to say, like, the big guns haven't done it either. You know, the big developers and the AAA developers don't do that. But I do think that there's only so far you can push certain games, whereas the indie scene seems very much a case of, do you remember them classics? Like, do you know, it's one of them where you just think of, do you remember such and such a thing from, like, the 90s? And they go, yeah. They go, we should make a game like that. And then they do. And it's amazing. It really is amazing. It's like, yeah, remember that one game I used to like? What was that one game called that I used to like? And then you'd be like, indie developers like, yes, we know what you mean. Or it's just like a funky idea where it's like, oh man, I really wish there was this. I really wish there was that, like, a game about synthwave racing or something like that. And it's like, well, there is. It's great. It is really, really good. Like I said, don't get me wrong, there are some AAA games out there that are quite good, but for me, if I talk about AAA games that are good, racing game-wise at least, I'd probably be going back at least 10 years, if not further than that. Like, some of my favourite games are still from, like, the Xbox 360 days. AAA games, at least. I just don't remember liking as many AAA racing games when we got to, like, the Xbox One and PS4 era, personally speaking. Also, given how expensive gaming is as well, like, one of the things as well is that to support an indie developer, I'll be honest, it barely costs anything. And that's not me saying that as just like, I don't mean that to come across as like a rich snob kind of way. What I mean is, you know, these developers aren't charging like stupid money for their games. There are a few bad apples out there, but what I mean is it's like, you know, there isn't, you know, the games aren't being charged at like 60 quid or 80 quid like they are these days. It's like they want 15 to 20 pounds, some want 30 because they think they put more effort in, which is also a valid statement. You know, I'd much rather put the money down for that, knowing that somebody has been putting their heart, soul, and effort into it. Also, we now have our second duel against Kenzie. So you can see there she has the ViperUK-R. It's like an R34 Skyline knockoff sort of looking car. But we won't see her for too long, hopefully. But yeah, you can see what I mean about these bars as well. Now, the thing is as well, this particular race, you may have noticed something about these dual races, and that is the fact that the game does not give you a map. Well, why should it? So this is literally a case of relying on it and hoping for the best. That's what that's about. So it does make these duels a bit more interesting. Also, with that said, not only is that Kenzie defeated, that is also the Thunder Tour finished, which is 2/3 of the way down. So now we're on to the Sidewinder Tour. We're going to go to Crimson Heat. You see now that we're immediately going into red track.
3, 2, 1.
So, I'm going to go ahead and bring my host back in here, just in case. If you want to talk about anything, the floor is definitely yours.
Sure thing. I know I mentioned the polls a little bit earlier, but we do have one that is coming to an end just before this run finishes. It is for Devil May Cry 3 with Fence coming up shortly. The poll is for the costume for Dante. We have 5 options. It is either default, so just your standard fare Dante. There's coatless Devil May Cry 3 Dante, and that one's in the lead. There's DMC 1 Dante, DMC 1 coatless, so if you want that retro Dante without a coat, there's your option. And then there's Legendary Dark Knight Sparta. as an option as well. That poll will be closing in a little bit as we get closer to the Devil May Cry 3 run. So if everyone's cool with codeless Dante, great, make sure it happens. But if somebody wants to throw a little chaos in there, why don't we, you know, keep Dante with the code on and try and see if we can get codeless more. Who knows? So that poll, like I said, will be closing shortly. So check that one out. And there's a few other ones too that you can check out, as well as the prizes. And remember, we are here for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. All your donations go directly to them via Tiltify. So you can hit !donate in chat, and that'll take you to the donate link. There's also links around the Twitch and YouTube channel as well, and you can check that out. That being said, more of this incredibly beautiful racing game with Victor Heat Rally with Viper.
Well, thank you very much. So I will be honest, this one is where the mind bending comes in. This is the race that the mind bend just happens with everybody. Because this is where, in my opinion, the speed definitely shows itself. Now, I'll be honest, I am going as quick as I can. You can make the car go much faster than this, but believe me, I've gone way too fast on this circuit before. And I know for a fact that it's like just crazy speed, to be honest. But yeah, you can see here we've got these massive jumps. It's like a roller coaster track almost. Like, these are some big jumps. Really big jumps. See there, I'm getting pretty close to the wall, that's fine. We're not doing too bad actually so far. One thing's interestingly coming, well, one thing is coming to light that I am actually, despite how bad my driving was at the start, it does seem like I'm coming good in certain races at the moment, which is very interesting. Also, that is the end of Hyperbend. However, we do have a Joker, so here we go. Coastline Cruise. So, this Joker involves something called a boost race. So, how this one works is, you may remember we've seen this race twice already. This is the third time we're doing it now. So what we have to do is we have to charge our boost. You see when the white lines are on the screen? The white lines basically mean that we are boosting. That's what it means. And what we have to be doing is we have to be boosting when we get to these gates. If we're not boosting, we pass through the gate and it doesn't let us have it. So, like, one of the hardest races in the game is on, I think it's Temple Track. But the problem is, it's so narrow. So this is obviously not that narrow. It's quite wide, so it allows me to drift and everything like that. And it makes things so much easier. However, if you so desire, you don't have to do that. You can... There you go. You can easily just do that. But, like I said, this is much more wider, so it's not too bad. It's nice and easy. So, that is that one. We're going to move on to Moonshine Mile, which is a rally. Funnily enough, Moonshine Mile is a race that you encounter at the very end of the game as well. So, there is a final Joker on this Moonshine one. And the main reason I say that there's a Joker on it, and I'm mentioning this, is because of the fact that you may remember, like in Crash Bandicoot games, you have them levels towards the end of the game, like bonus levels, and you've got to avoid UFOs at night. Well, that's basically what this game tries to do, except with a twist. So basically what it is that you go through the Joker, and what you're able to do is you're able to, like, basically, if you get caught in one of their fields, their vision fields, like what's it called, like a tractor beam, because they all have tractor beams. If you get caught in their tractor beam, what happens is your car blows up and you lose time trying to, you know, get past them. But it gets worse because then after a bit they stop moving, and as in they stop just spawning statically. They start to move a little bit more, and it's like, oh boy, what happens next? You know, what will happen next? It gets pretty chaotic, and eventually you're trying to go from left to right. Throw in the fact that you're trying to get to the end with a certain amount of time on the on there, it's pretty chaotic. Also, I have missed a race, but this is fine. I can go back and get that one. Oh well. So I did actually miss one of my jokers, so I'm going to be doing 2 jokers back to back here, which will be interesting. So what I need to be doing is basically my splits cover every race in this block, but I've unfortunately skipped a race, so I need to go back and do it. But it's fine anyhow. We'll be fine. Most of the races are easy. I mean, there is a drift one where you do need to get a certain amount of drift points, which we'll get. And obviously we need to do the Grand Prix for the Sidewinder Tour. And then once we've done that, we then fight off against Renzo. And time will be once I beat him. But we've got about 10 or 15 minutes before that happens yet, so plenty of time yet. But yeah, so some of the characters are a bit more difficult to beat than others on certain races. Now, again, I won't spoil too much, but I will say if you have a harder time at the end of the game, then don't be surprised, because I think everybody does. If you want a bit more variety, I'll just come out and say that. If you want some more variety when it comes to the game, rather than going through like 4 stages, then doing the Grand Prix, then the 4 stages, basically what the ending percent is. Go ahead and just do the individual groups. Because like I said, they're shorter and faster. But also, if you do all Grand Prix, the all Grand Prix category is about 1 hour and 20. It's a bit longer, but it allows you to do all of the races just once. And the only finale is a case of, well, yeah, the only finale is that one, pretty much. Okay, so what I need to do here is I need to go there. There we go.
3, 2, 1.
So what I need to do in this one is you actually need to pass 10 cars. However, I also want to blow cars up as well, because if I blow cars up, you see there, it's shortening how much time I've got. Now, I still want to get a few cars, so I'm going to do that. So I can do that, do 9, 10, there we go, right, and now we just start blowing cars up. Because like I said, I'm after, like, with the amount of time that I've got, I'm after trying to shrink the amount of time that's on that timer. And by hitting the cars, I'm able to make this event faster. There we go. Like I said, I don't need to get gold in this. I only need to get bronze. So, there you go. And like I said, we've got one more Joker to go. So this is a drift one. And I am going to try and aim for gold if I can. So you can see here that we've got, we have cones there, and if I hit the cone, it cancels out my drift score, so whatever I'm doing cancels them out. So you can see there we've got a fair bit of between us there. So I'm at 2400, I've got 1 lap to go. There we go. So I'm at 4,310, I need 5,000. Pretty close. There we go. There we go. Nice. So with that, that is all of the races done, except we now have the Sidewinder Grand Prix, as I've mentioned, so we've got to do that, and then we have Renzo to be, and then we're done. So I will just mention as well, so Victory Heat Rally, there isn't really a plot for the game, but it's shot in the sense of like a TV show, and the host is called Sally McRaleigh, by the way, in case you were curious as to who the girl on the left was. So she doesn't actually drive in the game, but yeah, you see her like a fair few times, and you have a crew chief who is your tutorial. Now, you can obviously skip him when he shows up if you so desire, but yeah, that's something I've not mentioned up until now, and I think that's kind of crucial. Yeah, if we got anything to talk about for the charity, next one we're raising money for, then definitely got a lot more time than you think, so go ahead if you wish.
Sure thing. Thanks, Viper. So no donations in, but that's always fine. Again, we do have the poll coming up. You can see it on screen right there. For a DMC3 for a Spend Speed Runs run of Devil May Cry 3, so you can change the costume there. Of what you guys want to see Dante wearing. I have a feeling Codeless is going to win, and that's just gonna be how it is. But we do have some cool prizes up for grabs. Like I said earlier, the Pokemon card bundle. There is the 14-inch Sonic the Hedgehog Squishmallow, and he's holding his beloved onion ring. So you could potentially win that. There's also the Chester Bennington painting, one-of-a-kind painting of Chester Bennington by fine artist and tattoo artist Beck Beware. She created this piece specifically for this event and comes with a certificate of authenticity. You can find more of her work at beckbeware.com or follow her Instagram and TikTok as well at beck.beware. That you could potentially win with a minimum $10 donation, because no matter what, like, the spirit of Breaking the Habit will always be in honor of Chester, so he's very close to a lot of us who started this event and everything, and it'll always have a piece of him involved in this event, but it obviously has grown so much more than that, so we wanted to have a really cool piece still to honor Chester. And then there's also the Devil May Cry figures that you can win. They were released in May of 2003. Now I have that information. So those are really cool vintage Devil May Cry figures of Trish and Dante. And yeah, I think that covers it now. Try to get your donations in if you want Dante to be in a different outfit. If you're cool with codeless, then let's just keep it codeless. But that poll will be ending when Victory Heat Rally ends, because then we're setting up for DMC3. So look forward to that, and take it away, Viper.
No problem, thank you very much. Funnily enough, so Spence Speedruns, who's doing his Dante run next, he's also from Manchester. He's not far from me. I don't mean like he lives like down the road, but like we live in the same city. We're probably about 10 miles away from one another, but yeah. We've met up a couple of times, that's quite nice to know. I haven't seen him for a bit, to be fair, but nice to know he's still doing well. But yeah, there are plenty of races in here. There is a couple of things as well, but again, just a few minor things. But if you're into stuff like Initial D, or Density D, I suppose, that's a bit of a spoof, but you know, Initial D style game, then funnily enough, there is a stage or two dedicated to that sort of, I'm not going to call it environment, but that sort of theme is what I mean. The music even sounds like it's probably going to be that it could probably have come from like an Initial D style game. They really did try and like appease everything with this game, which is really, really good. So yeah, definitely worth giving a try, as I mentioned. Just going to give a few final shouts, because I know I haven't got too long left during this run. So just want to give a massive shout out to my community for being as awesome as they are and being very supportive. I know this year's been a bit of a difficult year for me, in more ways than one, and that they've stuck with me and everything like that. Despite the fact I don't stream as much, They've been amazing to stick with me. The Victory Heat Rally Discord, of course, with being a great bunch of people, and you can find that on their Discord on SRC if you wish to do so. And then last but not least, obviously my family, more specifically my partner. She is sat next door, she can't hear me. But yeah, Broken Hyperlink, she's always stuck by me through thin and thin over the last year, 2 years. So yeah, it's been absolutely amazing. And yeah, been awesome. I love her. She's great. But either way, moving on a little bit though, we've got, like I said, this final race for the Grand Prix, and then we've got to deal with Renzo. So again, nothing too scary to worry about. There's no races that I don't think I can't win here. I just need to make sure I go a bit quicker in this race. That would help. So obviously I can complete things a bit faster. I will be honest though, if you're on tech and you're doing time, time will be coming up a lot sooner than you think. I do think the estimate I put was a bit too high, but I think I could probably lower the estimate next time. So for record, my PB is a 51.49. I got a 52.05 or something in practice yesterday. So yeah, we'll see how the ending to this one goes. I don't think it'll be a PB, but you never know. I mean, it doesn't look like it, to be honest. It might be like an early 52, to be honest. I don't know. We'll see how things go. I have had a few bad races, so I have slowed myself down a little bit. But hey, there's nothing I can really do about that. The game just does that, and yeah, just all about optimizing your movement, I think, and getting past the AI and not destroying them. So yeah, it's near the end here. Just gonna quickly get through the end. Just rid of the Grand Prix. Done and dusted. So I've just got Renzo to deal with. So all I need to do now is go after Renzo. And there we go.
Nice.
So time is going to be when I win. So yeah, just keep your eye on the timer for when that red bar disappears. Also, funnily enough, this is the race that, in case it didn't look familiar, it does now, it probably will. The one that I was destroying the cars on before, that's this one. And time. I'm delighted to say, as well, that was a PB.
Oh, heck yeah.
51.45. Well, it makes it a record, actually. But yeah,
No, it doesn't.
51.45. 4 seconds I beat my PB by exactly 4 seconds.
Heck yeah, congratulations.
So, woo! There is more to this game. As I said, there are 12 different characters that you can unlock. You've seen one of the main ones, Lucy, but there are 11 other characters that you can play from. The main 3 that you can choose at the start are Chrissy, Clyde, and Lana. Feel free to pick whichever you wish to do so. Personally, I would pick Chrissy. She's the easiest to get into, and you know, play the game through. She can be quick when she wants to be. Obviously, the characters do get quicker as you go through. You see here we've got more speed and everything like that. So yeah, would highly recommend trying out all these different cars and seeing who you like the best. But that's going to be it from me. I'm going to quickly put this back into the game. So you can see here there are other groups as well. There's Group X, Group Z, and then Rally Mania, which are their own GPs. We do have an arcade Grand Prix, so you can do like an arcade style Grand Prix thing, which is really cool. You have your versus one there, where you can challenge your friends in a head-to-head, which is really fun. Also, you got Time Attack as well. But yeah, that is it for Victory Heat Rally. I'm going to let the game talk. There you go. I'm going to let the game show itself off in all its glory. But yeah, if you wish to give this game a try, feel free to pick it up. If it's ever on a sale, definitely pick it up. In terms of like price wise, it's fairly cheap as well, so definitely give it a try. And for the, like I said, for the categories, if you want more variety, definitely go for the All Grand Prix category. You have to beat the game first, unfortunately, but the All Grand Prix category is pretty good. If you want to do the individual groups, definitely try this one. I've done all races, so I've showed you everything for the group, but you can just do like all the main races in the Grand Prix, which is a much shorter category. I think it's around half the distance, maybe like 30-40 minutes. So you can save yourself some time if you want to do that one. And yeah, if you want to be an absolute mad lad, go for the any percent category, which is about 2.5 hours, maybe 2 and a bit more than that. Or if you want to be like the completionist person, you can try 100%. 100% does involve unlocking every single paint job for every character, and that involves winning 16 races over the character. And bear in mind, in the entire game, if you were just to do the actual races, it's like, I think you'd be lucky to get 3 characters paint jobs unlocked, let alone 12. So there's a lot of, you know, grinding to do if you did 100%. I should know, it took me 5 hours. Or 4 hours or whatever it was. It was bonkers, to be honest. But yeah, I'm going to wrap that up here. If you want to find me on Twitch, I'm over at Viper Races. I do stream every now and again. At the moment, it's a bit tricky because circumstances and everything. But also a case of I do racing games like this one, but I also do shoot 'em ups and things like that. You can find me usually at a lot of online events. If not online, then in-person events. And yeah, that's all I've got to say. I just want to say, oh yeah, obviously, of course, the final thing, of course, thank you for Breaking the Habit event marathon team for allowing this run to be in and for allowing myself back. Really appreciate it. So thanks very much, and back to the host.